Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you. So we're just going to say hello real quick. Thanks for the introduction. I'm Christina. We are in Nashville, and I'm one of the co-founders of Trigger. I handle content marketing strategy, email campaigns, and working with companies to make sure that their websites are converting effectively. I do have a 7-month-old baby, and so I don't have any hobbies to share with you because I have a 7-month-old baby. So that's a little bit about me and what I do with my time. Lane is our other co-founder.
Hey, my name's Lane Hoke. I am the other half of Trigger, and like Christina, I focus on content marketing strategy. And while Christina's looking at your website and your email, I'm looking at social media, audience engagement, and then just general content creation. So we can get the most bang for your buck when you're spending money on video or photo shoot. A little bit about me. I'm actually a Forsyth County native. I moved up to Nashville about 2 years ago. I was an intern at the Chamber of Commerce about 10 years ago. And my hobby is to ask Christina for pictures of her baby because he is so cute.
All right, so we're going to jump right in. Stating the obvious here, in 2021, digital marketing is not just something to do in the future. It's not something to push off. It's about how we're reaching customers today. It's about surviving, especially in this stay-at-home culture, whether your business has had to pivot to be more online from a brick and mortar or in-person business model, or if you're an online startup, or if you're just looking to take advantage of all of those eyeballs on social media and in email while people are spending more time on digital platforms, we're here to help with that. So we're going to talk about how to win more this year with a content calendar. So content marketing has come about, if you're not familiar, marketing used to be just putting an ad up somewhere, putting a sign on a bulletin board or getting a billboard, and people would just call you, right? But that's not how people interact with businesses anymore. They want to get to know you. They want to know that you know your stuff, and they want to make that connection with you before they hire you. So content marketing is delivering valuable and relevant content on a consistent basis to your audience. It does need to be valuable and relevant to your audience, which we'll talk about a lot during this presentation. And it does need to be consistent. So if you are choosing to invest in posting on a Facebook page, for example, it is actually really detrimental if you have not posted in 6 months and a customer comes to your Facebook page. They're going to think you're out of business or that you don't care, and it's really sending a poor message rather than a strong one. So whichever channels or platforms you choose to publish your content on, make sure that you are consistent with it. Your content is going to inform all of your marketing. So when you do create a piece of content, it's going to go in your email, it's going to show up on your social media posts. It can inform your paid ads, whether you're doing Google ads or Facebook ads, and it can also appear in your print media as well. So content can mean a lot of different things. It can be visual, that can be obviously photographs, infographics, graphic quotes. You can even use memes. That is really appropriate for some businesses if you have like a funny side that you want to show or share with your audience. It can be multimedia, so it could be videos, whether that's on YouTube or if it's on Facebook or Instagram. It can be on TikTok. You could also be participating in a podcast, whether you're a guest or you host your own. There's also Clubhouse now, where you can join rooms and have these audio conversations with others. And content can also be written. So it can be articles, blogs, whether that's on your website or someone else's site. And it can be showing up in captions of your social media posts as well. So that's a lot. And how are you going to keep track of your pictures, your quotes, your blogs, all of this, and make sure that you're distributing it effectively? We're going to do that with a content calendar. The content calendar is going to show you how to be prepared, be organized, and be effective with all that content that you're spending time creating. So it will help you be prepared to proactively work toward your goals. When you create a content calendar, which we'll be showing you how to do today, you'll actually be setting your goals at the very first step so that all of your content is going to support that goal. So we're not just posting randomly and sending out random emails. You know exactly what the goal is, and so you can focus all of your content to support that goal, whether that is getting people into a school open house, or a real estate open house, or it's launching a product or having a spring sale. You know exactly what that goal is, and all of your content is going to support that. So you'll be avoiding fumbling or missing opportunities, whether that is a holiday or your spring sale, for example. You're not going to be scrambling at the last minute to try to come up with a social media post to support this. It's going to help you be organized, so you'll keep track of all of your content laid out in a beautiful spreadsheet. Whether you love organization or you struggle with it, this content calendar is going to help either way. So it will help you avoid losing content, like if you take a photo on your phone and then it just gets buried and lost forever. Once you have those photos, you're going to inventory them and put them on your calendar so that you make sure that you're using all of your content. And it's also going to help you avoid being confused about what to publish and when. So you don't have to be starting your morning with your phone in front of you or your computer in front of you, trying to think of something off the top of your head. You already have a plan. And finally, it's going to help you be effective. So it's going to maximize your content for your desired results. Like Lane said earlier, if you're spending time on a photo shoot or a video shoot, you want to make sure that you're maximizing your dollars for what you just spent money to create. So it's going to help you be creative in putting that content out across all of your digital platforms so that your audience can see it no matter where they're hanging out. And it's going to help you avoid confusing your customers with an unclear message. So your content will be telling a story. It will be laid out in themes so that you're not just posting, here's something about the founder and here's a sale I'm having and oh, happy St. Patrick's Day. It's not going to be just random posts that your customers don't know what you're trying to tell them. It's going to help you unfold a story so that your customer is seeing consistent messaging from you in your digital marketing. So Lane is going to show you how to create a content calendar. This is kind of a Mac Daddy content calendar that we created for a client last year. They had been around for 50 years. This is a very large content calendar. So this is what it can look like, but we're going to show you how to break it down, and Lane is going to take it from here.
Thanks, Christina. Okay, let's get started in this content calendar. So there's 6 steps to an effective content calendar. We're going to go through all of them. And then at the end, if you have any questions that you want to ask directly, you can use the raise your hand function. And if you just want to pop them off during the presentation, then just pop them in the chat and Jesse will help us manage those. All right, so step number 1, this is the most important step. It's to set your goals. How often have you created either a video or you've taken pictures, you've paid for a photo shoot, you've written a blog, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, what do I want to do with this? Where am I going to post it? What do I want somebody to do once they read it, see it, hear it? So we want to set goals for the month ahead of time. Again, think about what you want to accomplish. Do you want to get more followers? Do you want to get more email subscribers? Are you trying to get more consultations? Are you trying to get more sales? Are you trying to book more appointments? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? Think about that first, and then we can plan our content around that. So the next step is themes. So once we've created our goals, then we're going to look at our themes, and I'll show you what this looks like actually on the grid in a second. But you want to think about weekly or monthly themes to narrow your focus, because once we've created a goal, well, shoot, I could post anything about that goal. Narrow your focus, and here are some examples on how to do that. You can create a how-to series. So if you're a restaurant, or if you're a plumber and you want to create a how-to series on how to create our famous cocktail at home, how to make this famous dip at home, how to tell if the leak in your faucet is just something that needs to be tightened, or if it's something more serious, create a how-to series around that. And you can do that in video, you can do that in a blog format if that's easier, or you can do that in a series of posts. The next example for different themes is have something called an expert opinion theme. So if you're a doctor or some type of expert and you see a lot of content out in the world, different products that kind of relate to your ideal customer. So you're a dermatologist, you're seeing a lot of different facial creams and different facial tools. You can give your expert opinion about all of these different items, whether they're effective or ineffective. Another great example of a theme is customer stories. This is something that applies to every single industry, even if you're in marketing. So that's getting a testimonial, getting a picture, getting a video from a customer that's worked with you, somebody who loves your product, and just sharing that once a week, once a month. That's an easy way to set a theme for your entire content calendar, and then repeat that theme with different examples over several months. So this is what the content calendar looks like. And we're going to give you guys a link to download this directly. So if we're looking at March, you can see the pink line right under the days. You're looking at the theme. So I would say that I wanted to get more followers that week. So the theme is going to be audience engagement. So my Instagram posts could look something like reintroducing the brand, and then maybe sharing a funny meme because that's on brand for Trigger. And then maybe I'm doing some type of Q&A. All right, so now that you've seen the content calendar, we've created our goals for the month. We've selected some themes that we're gonna just create content around and then use that theme repetitively. Now we're gonna look at our content calendar. So you wanna select your strongest marketing channel to drive your content calendar. For example, for Trigger, our strongest marketing channel is social media and our website. So that means that we're gonna use different blogs that we've already published on our website, and we're gonna create social media posts around those blogs. So the blogs tell us what we're gonna be posting for that week. And then we use supporting channels in order to take that content and then just replicate it over several days, several weeks. So depending on your business and where your audience hangs out, that is how you will select your channels. And you can see here, this is a screenshot of our content calendar. Once you download this, you are more than welcome to change it to fit your own needs. If you do not post on Instagram because that's not where your audience is,
can you read it?
please change. Yes?
That's spring roll.
Okay. Please change Instagram to LinkedIn or Twitter. We don't have blog on here. If that's something that you use a lot for your business, then you can just add blog. All right, so we've created our goals for the month. We've thought of themes for each different week. We've looked at our content calendar and we're kind of like selecting which channels we want to use and how often we want to be posting. So now we need to inventory our content. Photo shoots are expensive and they're time consuming, and so are video shoots. So if you've already got content from previous shoots or previous blogs, then we want to look at how many of those pieces of content can we use to achieve our short-term goals. Think about which types of content you can easily create or recreate and how quickly you can do that. And then this is the concept that we want to use when we're thinking about content that's already been created. So the theory is called COPE, and it's create once, publish everywhere. So if you had a video made about your business, then we want to make sure that that's posted on our website somewhere. We want to share it on Facebook. We want to share it on Instagram, and we probably want to create a blog about it too. So we've created one piece of content and we're publishing it everywhere. And I can show you what that looks like in just a second. So we want to switch it up. Once you've inventoried all of your content and you've said, okay, I've got 6 pieces of content and I'm going to post 2 a week for the next 3 weeks. Then you want to fill in your gaps by using user-generated content and new content forms. So user-generated content is one of my favorite things because it's a free photo shoot. That means that a customer has taken a picture of them in your store, of them with your product, of your product in use, and they've tagged you on social media or they've sent it to you in an email. All you need to do is ask for their permission to use it, and then you can share that on social media. Just make sure that you have gotten a yes from them and that you're also giving them credit for the content. All right, so here are some ideas. You can screenshot this. Slide. My advice after doing this for many, many years, only pick a couple of these content creation like themes to fill out your content calendar. So things like tutorials or how-to videos, those are simple and it is a-okay if you want to use an iPhone for this. Testimonials and stories, again, those are things that you can, it's one theme, but you can get how many testimonials and stories can you get about your product or working with you as a consultant, business owner. Behind the scenes can be tricky. I like to use the example of if you are a meat shop and you make sausage, you don't want to do a behind the scenes for sausage creation. You want to do a how-to video on how to create sausage, not a behind the scenes, because nobody wants to see behind the scenes at a butcher shop. We know this for a fact because we've actually worked with one. Next theme is a brand introduction. If you've been around for a long time, if you are new, if you've got a lot of new followers, that's something that you can integrate into your content calendar. Call it once a month for the next 6 months. Selecting featured products to feature or services to feature, that's something that you can do maybe once a month, and you can replicate that multiple times over 6 months, a year. Community appreciation, this is really important for local businesses like the school system or maybe like an acting studio, something like that, somebody that's really involved in the community. This is something that you can post multiple times. You're just recreating an image and maybe a different caption. User-generated content, one of my favorites, it's a free photo shoot. Quotes, if you've got kind of testimonials, you can replicate that into either just a graphic image or maybe a quick video. FAQs or Q&A sessions, that's good for kind of the more professional industry. So if you're thinking about like lawyers, accountants, that kind of stuff. Staff highlights, if people are coming into your store a lot or coming into your brick and mortar facility, highlighting a staff is a great thing that you can do multiple times with different staff members across 6 months. Educational pieces, short videos, co-marketing with people that you're friends with in the community, telling your founder's story, having a top 10, top 3, top 5, top 7 list. These are our top 7 picks for wines this week, or these are our top 5 picks for dinner ideas this month. And then memes, we've talked about that. If you have more of a humorous kind of brand voice, then using memes is perfectly fine. All right, and then the last thing we want to do, so let's review. We've created our goals for the month. We've selected different themes for the week. We've looked at our content calendar and decided what channels we want to be posting on. And I can answer questions about which channel is the most appropriate for your specific business after this. We've inventoried the content that we've already created, photos on our iPhones or videos that we've had created maybe a couple months ago, blogs, that kind of stuff. Then we've filled in the gap with things that are easy to create, and we've selected some things that we know we can create multiples of for future use. The last thing we want to do is add all of this content to our calendar. You want to decide how often to post. So if it's not reasonable for you to post every day, please don't feel the need to do that. Posting twice a week is totally fine if that's what you're able to do. Use a social media scheduling tool. I love to use Later. Planoly is also a really good scheduling tool. They both have free options that are really great if you're just getting started out. And you can write your captions and schedule your social media posts within those scheduling tools. So you can take maybe a day once a month and schedule out posts for an entire month. And then you don't have to think about it again until the next month. You can also do this with email systems and different blog platforms. So if you've got like Squarespace or Shopify, there's a way that you can schedule out your blogs. So again, you can take one day a month, which I know for small business owners can be kind of tough, but it's really worth it just to take that one day and write 5 or 6 blogs and then just have them scheduled out throughout the month. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we're using 2 pieces of content in 6 different places. So here's an example. We have a 75-second iPhone video on how a product is made. And then we also have an Instagram testimonial from a customer. So that's user-generated content. Again, we love it. So for the how-to video, we've done it on an Instagram post. That's something called an IGTV. This is something that you can look up on YouTube, and there are tons of really great step-by-step instructional videos on how to create an IGTV video. So then we've shared that video on our Instagram stories. And we've also posted the same video on Facebook with a slightly different caption, but it basically says the same thing. And then the next day, we repost a customer testimonial on Instagram and Facebook. And then we're sending out an email. Maybe we're sending an email out once a week. So this email can include a link to the video of how a product is made and a quote from a customer testimonial. And that is 2 pieces of content, 6 different ways, which is amazing. Okay, so after we've done the content calendar for a couple of weeks, you really want to see if the things that you are posting on social media, in email, and on your website are actually working. So for social media, things you want to focus on just at the very beginning, because there's so many pieces of data that we could really look at. So what are the top level things that you need to be focusing on to make sure that your Instagram post, your Facebook post, your Pinterest post is effective? We want to look at engagement, and that is simply all of the likes plus all of the comments divided by how many followers you have. Again, this is something that you can Google, you can look on YouTube. There's tons of how-to videos on how to figure out different metrics for social media. You also want to look at impressions. So that's how many times that particular post was seen. And you want to look at shares. Shares are my favorite thing because it's like free PR. Somebody that's already following you is sending that post to somebody else who's probably not following you. For email, you want to look at open rates, clicks, and conversions. So open rate is how many people actually opened your email. And then after they've opened your email, how many people actually clicked on links in that email. And the final thing is a conversion. So that's going to be different for everyone. If you're selling a product, then a conversion is just going to be an online sale. But for some businesses, a conversion could be entering that top level of your sales funnel, scheduling a call, coming in for a meeting or a consultation. It really depends on how you gauge what a conversion is for your business. And then the final thing, if you're posting blogs, is to think about how many times are people contacting you from your website and what a conversion is from your website. If you're using something like Squarespace or Shopify, there's a lot of great how-to videos that you can look at to see this type of data, and it'll tell you exactly what buttons to click so that you can see how effective your website marketing is. All right, so like I said, we created a content calendar for you to download. You're going to go to growwithtrigger.com/calendar, and you can download it, save it for yourself, for your marketing team. You can change as much as you want on the content calendar because it's yours, and we want to make sure that it works for your business specifically. Okay, so just to reiterate, we are Trigger, and we offer done-for-you digital marketing and coaching programs. So if you've got a marketing team and they just need a little bit more direction to make sure that you're getting more online sales, more online bookings, that's something that we actually specialize in. And if you're a solopreneur and you just need a little bit of help to understand what you really need to focus on because your time is so limited, we also offer a 3-month coaching program that has been really effective for everyone that has gone through it. So you can visit us at growwithtrigger.com. You can shoot us an email. We would love to talk to you if you think that we could help you. All right, so I'm going to open it up for questions now. Jesse, if you want to relay some questions or unmute some people, would love to hear those.
So at this time, everybody, if you have any questions, you can please submit them either in that chat box or raise your hand and we will unmute you. Thank you, Lane and Christina, so much for providing that awesome content. I know I have a couple questions just on my end. So have you guys found any specific content that performs better than others? I know you shared that slide with us that had so many different opportunities, but what content generally performs better?
It really depends on the business, but I would say anything that is like a how-to video. We've noticed that videos perform really, really well. We created some videos for several of our clients actually just on our iPhones, and then we just popped it into iMovie on our Macs, edited it a little bit, and how-to videos seem to perform really well. So if that's like low-hanging fruit, if people are constantly asking you the same type of question, or if you've got a new product that's really interesting, a 2-minute how-to video, make it short. Please, dear God, make it short. Those are really effective.
Awesome. And then, so I know we're talking about the content calendar and scheduling our post. What time have y'all found out is the best time to be posting? Is it different on each platform?
Yeah.
What are kind of the thoughts behind that?
Yeah. So again, it depends on that particular business's audience and like kind of the purpose of what they're posting. So if you are more business to business, then you're probably going to want to post earlier in the day if you're posting on LinkedIn, or if you're sending an email on LinkedIn, an email to their business email. Earlier in the day is good. Instagram and Facebook have really great sections that'll show you in kind of your settings or your insights when your audience is most active. I highly recommend looking at those insights on social media. Look at what time they're most active and when that's sustained. So if you've got people that are active at 9 a.m. and then it kind of drops down, 9 a.m. is not the best time to post. If they're active at 12 and they stay pretty active until 3, then you probably want to post around 11:45. So you want to post just before the activity reaches a height and then is sustained for several hours.
It's great information. Looks like we have a question in our chat. Are there any other up and coming social apps that you recommend other than the Fab Five?
So the Fab Five would be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, I'm guessing. It depends on the business. So if you are going after a younger audience, then TikTok is a great platform to use. That's not something that we specialize in because we're kind of typically marketing to a little bit older generation, my generation. And then let's see, Clubhouse is kind of up and coming. I'm really interested to see how well that does. I'm wondering if it's a fad or if it's going to be a little bit more successful than what LinkedIn has become. So again, it just depends on who you're trying to reach and where they're hanging out. If you're B2B, Clubhouse could be a really great place to start. I do not recommend using every single platform unless you're like Coca-Cola or Kraft. Think about the channels that your audience is most realistically on, and then just kind of focus on those. Don't try to go after every single channel. Twitter moves really quickly, so unless you were sharing news or sharing jokes or something like that, Twitter's not a great place to hang out. It just eats up content too quickly.
Great insights. Can you post too much?
Yeah, you can. We see it often. You can post too much. I think that you need to be looking at what people are actually commenting on and responding to. If you're on Instagram, there's some really great ways to look at insights. As long as your business is on a business profile on Instagram, you can just hit view insights on each single post and it'll show you what the reach was, how many impressions. If you're getting, 5 or 6 likes on a post, it's time to take a beat, pause, decide what's going to be most effective and most valuable for your audience, and then create content around that. Maybe it takes a little bit longer, but that's okay if it's going to be more valuable and get more engagement. If nobody's liking or commenting your stuff, stop. figure out what works.
All great information, great insights. Do we have any more questions at this time? If you do, we can put them in the chat feature or unmute yourself. Awesome. Well, thank you, Lane and Christina, for joining us today. We have one more question. Should you ask people to like your post?
Hey, Leslie. I think I'm going to make an assumption here. I think this might be coming from, a post that's been going around a lot on social media about kind of like the new algorithm that saves are more important, shares are second important, comments are good, and then likes are okay. It's not true. It's false. I don't know who created it, but there is no new algorithm. Instagram is constantly updating the way that things operate, but the last time they announced a new algorithm was in 2018. So I wouldn't say that you should ask people to like the post unless you are doing some type of like, I don't know, like chicken tender. I'm trying to make this specific for you, Leslie. Would you rather have chicken or steak for dinner? Like for chicken, comment for steak. That would be a good reason to use to request a like. But your content should be valuable enough that you don't have to ask for that. It's easier said than done, but we see that when we take a step back and really look at what is the most successful post on social media, for example, if we're looking at Instagram and we're seeing that, oh man, 6 months ago we did this particular post and it got 10 times more likes than we normally get. Well, what are the elements of that post? Was it a how-to video? Was it a reintroduction of the brand? Was it, answering a frequently asked question? Create content around that, around what you have seen done successfully for your audience in the past. Is that helpful? Please say yes.
Sorry, I'm here with Mary. We've got our masks on, but thank you. This was great. I did have, it's always like no matter how good my content is, it's always the stupid, funny memes and stuff that gets the most likes. So sometimes it's discouraging when you spend a lot of time trying to create really great content, and then I don't know. I've noticed ours has dropped off a little bit, even with boosting a few things. Things have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Seems like that.
Yeah. So engagement is down for everyone, and I think that has to do with a couple of things. One, I think people on social media are just tired. We've been in front of our phones now for like a year. It's the anniversary this week. So I think people are just kind of tired of content. We're also seeing just like a huge boost in accounts that have been created for Instagram. So 5 years ago, there was like, I don't know. I can't remember. I'm going to tell you the wrong number. Say there was like half as many accounts on Instagram as there are now. So you're just fighting with like 1,000 more people to get that same person's interest. So that's why everyone's engagement is down. It's not just you. It's just kind of like human psychology. We're exhausted. It is interesting that memes get the most likes. I'd be interested to see what gets the most saves and shares, especially because you are more in this like how-to space. And I know you want to bring people into your store, but giving them tips that they can use to like expand the life of a leftover or something like that, so that they're constantly coming to your Instagram page for dinner, cooking, family kind of like tips and tricks. I'd be interested to see how that does for you specifically.
That's a great idea. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in here as well and say that even though this fight for attention is happening on social media, it is not necessarily happening in email. So people are still checking their emails. We get our electric bill in our email. All of our stuff is going to our email, so we have to check it. So again, using that content principle of create once, publish everywhere. If you make a post on Instagram or Facebook, do kind of a recap and send that out to your email list as well. And that's going to give you an even better chance of being seen and having them engage with your content if it's going out in email too.
I do have one more question. Is that okay? Okay. I used to, when I worked somewhere else, I used a content scheduler, Hootsuite, I think, that was a long time ago. And I actually used it a little bit here when I first started with it, but I always felt like those things that I had scheduled got less views than things I just posted organically. So right now I have our Instagram and our Facebook connected, and I'm using the business suite function so that I can, do both at one time and schedule them, which is great. But is there any truth that things that are scheduled don't get as much as organic posts? Or is it my imagination?
Oops, I'm muted. That's another like myth that's going around. Somebody that you might want to follow if you're posting specifically for Instagram and Facebook, this is for everyone. If you feel like your audience is more active on social media, she's called Your Social Team. Her name is Manu. She's actually Atlanta based, but she's super helpful for people that are trying to DIY their own social media. She debunks myths like this all the time. Instagram wants to see that you're active. So if you know that a post is going to be auto posting at 12 o'clock noon, be active about 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after. Best practice is about 30 minutes, but I know that we're busy and we don't have that much time. So just kind of be active, be on Instagram around that time, be liking and commenting on other people's posts so that Instagram sees that you have activity on that account. The other thing that you really need to do, this is for everyone again, if you're getting a comment on your post, you gotta reply. Even if they just say, love this, you need to like the comment and then you need to reply. Even if it's just a thanks or a heart emoji or something, you gotta say something. Otherwise, people are just gonna look at your account and say like, well, this person asked a question 2 weeks ago and they haven't responded. Why would I engage with them? Okay, I see a question from TDG. What percentage of yearly marketing budget would you recommend for social media? Totally depends on if social media is the right platform for you. So if your audience is living on Instagram and Facebook and trying to get information about your product on social media, then I would say, Christina, help me out here. I mean, I would say maybe like 20% on digital marketing across the board.
Yeah, you want to focus on if your customers are on social media, you can pull down your Google ads, pull down what you're spending on SEO and other marketing channels, and really put your resources towards social media. If that's what is driving your business. So don't feel like you have to do it all. If you're running Google ads, but your customers are really engaging on Instagram, you can tone down or even pause those Google ads and put everything into creating content or running ads on social media. So I know that that's kind of an ambiguous answer, but it really just does depend on your business. But just having that ratio, if you have your set marketing budget, you know what your budget is. So just put that towards the channels that you know that are that your customers are hanging out on. So we like to think of a social audience as maybe a little bit younger for Instagram, maybe a little more midlife for Facebook. And it's usually more of a product that needs to be experienced. So if you have a unique product or if it's very experiential, then social media is great for you. If it's something that involves a lot of research, like if you're selling high-end appliances or maybe legal services, that might be a little more Google driven. People are Googling like how to, file, I don't know, like some kind of document legally or whatever. So you want to be seen with SEO, with Google ads for your service, and maybe a little bit less on social media. Does that kind of answer the question in a roundabout way? Okay.
Yes. Any other questions that we have at this time? Mark just said most of our engagement is on Angie's list. What is the first step to establishing a social media presence?
So I know that Angie's list, and Christina probably will jump in here too, probably wants to own their own audience. So there's probably going to be some type of rules about if you can ask somebody to be on your email list versus follow you on social media. My guess is that customer testimonials is probably, without knowing what you do, but knowing a little bit about Angie's list, customer testimonials is probably going to be a great way to establish your social media presence. Something like a picture of a happy homeowner with just like we loved working with Mark. His team was so great. Everything was super cleaned up afterwards. Again, I'm just making up what you do in my head. I think you're a painter. You might not be. So something like that, just as far as that, going back to the themes and thinking about what kind of themes can we use to replicate content multiple times. Customer testimonials would be great. My guess is that if you're on Angie's list, Facebook is probably a good social media platform for you. Maybe start diving into Instagram, but again, you don't need to be everywhere for everyone. Christina, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I'm going to backlane up with saying just read the terms of what they'll allow you to post. I'm actually not familiar with what Angie's List will allow you to cross over, but if they do allow you to, reference your website, reference your social media, just make sure you're linking people out as much as possible over to those properties that you want them to see with some valuable content. So when they get there, they find something that they want to engage with, they want to follow, they want to comment on. So for example, if you're running a sale and you say, go to my Instagram to get the code, or go to the website and sign up for my email list to get the code for the sale, you could potentially do that. So anything that Angie's List will allow you to give a link out to, I would just start doing that and driving them to whichever channel you want to drive them to.
Mark, a second idea would be, since we're doing customer testimonials first, my guess is that how-to videos would also be useful. How to tell when it's time to call a plumber, a painter, a roof repairman, a handyman. Those are types of content that you can probably create several pieces of that are different, all within the same theme.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Lane and Christina. We are going to wrap it up if there's no more questions. Awesome. So I do want to make a quick little chamber plug here. The chamber is launching a digital marketing academy. We will be hosting our first session class of that in April. So please be on the lookout for more information about that. We'll be hosting classes very similar to what Lane and Christina gave us today. So we look forward to that. And thank you again, Lane and Christina. I know I learned so much to create a content calendar, and we will be emailing out that link to that content calendar for you guys to have along with the recording of this webinar. So thank you, everybody, and I hope you all have a great day.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.